two things in this world that I love. The first is tablets, and the second is weird stuff. And this tablet here is definitely both of those things. It's the Oukitel RT7 Titan, which is an ultra rugged tablet with some pretty crazy features. Let's start with a quick unboxing here, because the unboxing experience itself is kind of surreal. The box is gigantic and absurdly heavy, and despite that it's pretty unassuming. The first thing you'll see is the gigantic tablet itself, hilariously protected by these foam inserts. And then underneath that you're going to find a whole host of strange accessories. There's of course a charger and USB-C cable, along with, get this, a metal alloy handle that can be screwed onto the back of the tablet, along with a hand strap that can also be screwed on, and a shoulder strap for carrying the tablet over your shoulder. I'm not kidding, all of this is in the box. You also get a handy toolkit for adding these accessories on. And here's the tablet itself, and as you can see, it is an absolute heifer. Is it legal to use that word in 2024? Anyway, this tablet comes in at a honking 1200 grams. As you can see, this is an ultra rugged build, with this thick rubber shell surrounding the entire device. On the back you'll see that this has a pretty sleek and stylish build, with the Oukitel logo highlighted in silver in the middle, and the triple camera array toward the top. And there are also 4 screw holes for using the included accessories, and we'll look at that in just a moment. Before I take a closer look here, let's go over the specifications of the Oukitel RT7, because as well as being an ultra rugged tablet, it's not exactly a slouch in terms of everything else. The RT7 Titan comes with a MediaTek MT8788 CPU, combined with a Mali G72 GPU. It has 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. The main event here is the 10.1-inch 16:10 aspect ratio, 1920x1200 pixel display, and that has a DPI of 223. The primary camera is a Sony IMX586 48 megapixel sensor, and the tablet also has a 20 megapixel Nightvision camera, a macro lens, and a 32 megapixel selfie camera. It comes with Android 13 out of the box, and has support for a 4G SIM card. There is a 5G version of this tablet available with a pretty different specification. And it of course has a military grade build with IP68 waterproofing, which gives you 1.5 meters of submersion for 30 minutes, and 1 meters of shock protection. And finally, the battery. This tablet has an absolutely whopping 32,000 mAh battery, which gives you somewhere around 180 days of standby, and multiple days of heavy use. And we'll look at this battery life a little more later on. I'll also note that it does support 33 watt charging using the included charger. So all in all, that's a pretty impressive spread in terms of specifications. And before we dive deeper into the performance of this tablet, let's take a quick look around it. On the right hand side, you're going to see a textured power button and the volume rocker, along with one of the speaker holes. On the left hand side, you'll see a covered USB-C port, and get this, a full-size HDMI port for video output. I think it's just crazy to see full-size HDMI on this tablet rather than mini or micro. Just crazy. These are both of course protected by very stiff rubber covers. And the second speaker hole is down here too. And along the top of the device you'll find the covered SIM and SD card slot. On the front of the device there's just a small camera, but thankfully it doesn't cut into the screen with a notch or anything like that. And on the back you have that aforementioned pretty nice rugged looking industrial design. By the way, this version of the RT7 has grey highlights, but a blue version is available too, where a few of these details are blue instead of grey. Overall, I think it's a pretty great looking tablet. Of course you have to take it in the context of an ultra rugged device, but I do think the RT7 kind of outdoes itself in terms of looks. It's very stylish and kind of classy as well. So now let's take a look at this screen. As I said before, it's a 10.1-inch screen with a 1920x1200 resolution. That means it is not quite the sharpest display out there, but it still looks perfectly fine. And it gets pretty bright too. Overall, I don't really have any issues with it, other than the fact that it's covered with some kind of screen protector out of the box. And for some reason that screen protector creates a kind of noisy effect when you look at the device at an angle. It's not the end of the world at all, it's just something I noticed. And on a tablet like this, I'd rather have the added protection anyway. The screen does get plenty bright, but it's not the brightest in the world. But for general usage and even outdoor usage, I've had no issues whatsoever. Anyway, as I always say with this kind of thing, this is a gaming YouTube channel, so let's take a look at some gaming on the RT7. And I have to say that the RT7 is no slouch when it comes to gaming and emulation. With native gaming, you'll have no issues playing basic games. Something like Sonic Dash runs perfectly fine. However, there is a little bit of an issue when it comes to the RT7, which is that it's just so darn heavy. So you're probably not going to want to hold this tablet in one hand while you swipe the screen to play a game. It just doesn't really work very well for that use case. I honestly got tuckered out after about 20 seconds of holding the tablet in this way. But if you have the tablet set down on a table, or you have a controller attached, it works great. And games like Vampire Survivors and Horizon Chase have no issues running. Even some higher end 3D games will run fine as well, although you should expect to lower down the graphics settings for pretty much everything. But I really enjoy gaming on a tablet in general, and I'm fine with doing that. The RT7 is also a pretty formidable emulation device, supporting everything up to high-end PSP and Dreamcast. Of course, you're not going to hit anywhere near GameCube or PS2 outside of maybe a couple of simple 2D games. But even for PSP, God of War Ghost of Sparta ran pretty much perfect at a 2x resolution. And even on a big screen like this, it still looks absolutely great. I really wasn't expecting this game to run this well in any case, so it's pretty amazing to see it running so well here. And PSP games in general outside of that are pretty flawless. And the same can be said for Dreamcast too. This tablet will play basically every Dreamcast game at full speed at around a 720p resolution. Some games you'll be able to upscale to 1080p with no problem. But for the most part, 720 still looks great on a tablet like this. The 16:10 aspect ratio display, which is the same that you'll find on the Steam Deck, is perfect for retro gaming too. And all of your retro games from Sega Mega Drive to Super Nintendo will all look fantastic on this display. The giant screen gives you a huge game area, but that combined with that 16:10 aspect ratio means that pretty much any kind of retro games will fill out a huge amount of the screen. And like pretty much all tablets, it's just a great experience gaming on this device. But I think the thing that sets this device apart is really in that kind of rugged nature of the tablet. Because this is really a tablet that you could take with you somewhere that you might not take another tablet. For example, on a camping trip or to the beach, and it just kind of expands your options. Just bring a couple of controllers, hook them up, and you can play whatever game you want, wherever you want. And of course, I think that the versatility of this tablet is where it really shines. A big element of that versatility is the battery life. This is a 32,000 mAh battery, and no, I'm not saying that incorrectly. 32,000. And the battery life on this thing absolutely delivers. Oukitel themselves say that this device has 180 days of standby life, and honestly, I believe it. Especially if you switch Wi-Fi off when you put it onto standby, this thing will easily last for months. I don't know how accurate the 180 days is, but in my experience, you can leave this tablet an entire day and come back and it's lost a % maximum of battery life. It is insanely impressive. And I wanted to really put this to the test in terms of media consumption. My first test was to play Sonic Adventure at a 1080p resolution. And I just set this device on at maximum brightness, Wi-Fi and all the other sensors and whatever enabled. I just plopped it on the windowsill and left it. And this tablet lasted a whopping 23 hours and 45 minutes of pure maximum brightness screen on time. And this is playing a game in 1080p that does cause slowdown here or there, so it's definitely pushing the tablet to its limits. And I think that is just incredible battery life. For my second test, I wanted to do live streaming. So I went onto YouTube, forced a 1080p resolution, and I live streamed this beautiful video of various locations around Austria. Again, I sat this tablet on the side, and it lasted a humongous 28 hours and 39 minutes. And that's actually live streaming over the internet. That entire time. RIP my service provider. Just kidding, that's a drop in the bucket of my usual use, trust me. Anyway, the point that I'm making here is that the battery life is absolutely insanely good on this tablet. And just to contextualize that a little bit, imagine using this tablet in a car. You could just strap this tablet to the back of one of the seats, and then the passengers in the back will be able to enjoy games or videos or whatever. And this tablet will be good for like an entire road trip. I mean, when was the last time you traveled for over 24 hours without a single chance to charge? It's very unlikely, and this tablet will very likely survive that entire trip. Or for example, if you were to go on a multi-day camping trip, you can easily rely on this tablet to last that entire time. And in that type of use case, the ruggedness of this tablet is going to come in handy as well. As far as I can tell, this thing is like indestructible. Like, I'm not exaggerating here. This has become my throw-around tablet. I've used it in the kitchen while I'm baking and dusting it with flour and oil and other stuff. I've taken it outside with me, even into the snow and the wet ground. And I just don't need to worry about this tablet. I'm always confident that it's going to be okay. And even if I get it dirty or something, I can just rinse it off under the tap or scrub it with a sponge until it's clean, dry it off, and I'm good to go. Honestly, I love rugged devices like this. I really do. I think they're a really excellent solution for many use cases. Now, I'm no tablet photographer, and as I always say, neither should you be. But actually, the cameras on the RT7 Titan are not the worst in the world. And oddly enough, they look a lot worse when you're actually taking the picture or video than they do when they're finally rendered out. You're not going to win any awards or anything like that, but if you're working a job or you're camping and you just want to take a quick picture, the cameras work fine. Even the selfie camera is pretty good, actually. The macro lens, well, it works, and the quality is a little bit better than I thought it would be, but it's still pretty fuzzy and not great. Still fine in a pinch. The Nightvision camera, however, is absolutely freaking awesome. It is so freaking cool. So next time you're in the wild and you find a grey alien hiding behind a tree, you might actually be able to get some usable footage of it. Who am I kidding? It will come out blurry. Anyway, the cameras are actually really, really good, and I've noticed that while I've been using it, so I just wanted to touch on it. The Android build you get with the RT7 Titan is very, very bare bones. It's just a real simple, basic Android. There's absolutely no bloatware installed out of the box, which is really, really good to see. The only notable addition to the operating system is the tool bag. And this basically contains a bunch of tools for using on the job, for example in a construction job or something. You get a sound meter, a picture hanging mode, a height measure, and even like a plumb bomb, whatever that is. Now, I'm not working any kind of construction or DIY jobs right now, so I'm not necessarily the use case for these apps, but I do think it's really cool that they're here. So the last thing I want to talk about here is the included accessories. You get a wrist strap which can screw onto the tablet, and you can slide your hand through and it just makes it a little bit more wieldy to carry around with you. Similarly, the shoulder strap is the same. Just screw it on, attach the straps, and you're good to go. But then there's the alloy handle. And this might be one of my favorite features on any device I've ever owned. This thing is made of solid metal, and it serves not only as a handle for carrying the tablet around, but also a vertical and horizontal kickstand. It's easily adjustable, it is rock solid and will never fall off, and it's just absolutely awesome. It's such a cool addition to this tablet and really makes it more versatile and more useful. And again, it's not just if you're working a construction job or something. This is helpful wherever you are. Setting it up in the kitchen for some baking is just fine. Setting it outside in the dirt and the rain, just fine, it works perfectly. It's just a really cool and thoughtful accessory, and the solid metal construction with these big metal bolts really makes me feel like this is going to last forever. Anyway, this review has gone on way too long, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. I'm actually not going to do a likes and dislikes of this tablet, because I think that everything I like and everything I dislike is kind of contextual to what it is. For example, the screen protector might create a noisy effect sometimes on the screen, but it protects the screen, so that's fine. The tablet is really, really heavy, but then it's also really, really rugged. It might not be quite as easy to carry around as other tablets, but that's because you can throw this thing in a volcano and odds are it would come out okay. And overall, I think that the performance of this tablet is really good. It works perfectly for daily usage such as streaming or browsing the internet, and it works for some basic gaming and emulation too. And even some mid-range emulation with PSP and Dreamcast. And I don't think that's anything to sniff at personally, I think that's pretty impressive for a rugged tablet. I think the cameras are decent enough for the once in a blue moon time you need to use them, but I think that overall what makes this tablet really, really special is the flexibility and versatility of it. Its defining feature is that battery life. It is just wild how long it lasts. And it means that this tablet is an almost permanent companion. You can always rely on it to do what you need it to do, and be where you need it to be with battery life. And when you do need to charge it, it charges quickly because of that 33 watt fast charge. You can even use this tablet to charge a different device as well, which itself is a really great feature. In fact, it could charge my phone around 10 times over. And overall, I just think that the Oukitel RT7 Titan is just freaking awesome. It's just such a cool tablet. And whether you're in the market for a tablet to take with you on trips or camping or to your job on a construction site, or if you just want a reliable tablet that you can throw around the home in the kitchen or wherever you want, this is just a really great option. And I highly recommend it if you're that person. I'll leave a link to Oukitel's website in the description box below where you can check out this device and its 5G cousin that has a pretty different and more powerful spec. So do check that out if this device interests you. I want to say a huge thanks to Oukitel for providing this device for me to review, and as always they didn't have any influence on the video, and I took like 3 months to do it, so yeah, sorry about that. And I want to say a huge thanks to you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do go ahead and click that like button, and subscribe to RetroBreeze for more great gaming, handheld, tablet, and whatever else I can find content. And that's this one done. Thank you very much for watching Retro Breeze, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.